There was a time when the sight of one championship could stop everything. WrestleMania 12, Shawn Michaels finally climbs the mountain and beats Bret Hart for the WWF Championship.
The boyhood dream has come true.
WrestleMania 14, Austin finally wins, and WWE instantly feels different. WrestleMania 21, Cena holds the WWE title for the first time, and you can literally feel the torch being passed. WrestleMania 30, Daniel Bryan wins, and it feels like the fans force destiny into reality. WrestleMania 35, Kofi wins, and it feels like years of trust finally pay off. WrestleMania 40, Cody finally finishes the story. Not just winning the title, but paying off a chase WWE had built for years, in a moment the entire show was clearly designed to deliver. But it wasn't just WrestleMania. Mankind winning the WWF Championship on Raw felt like a miracle happening live. Eddie Guerrero beating Brock Lesnar at No Way Out felt like a full-on coronation. Cena and Rob Van Dam at One Night Stand felt like a culture war over who the WWE title even belonged to. Punk and Cena at Money in the Bank felt like the championship was the power button for the entire company. Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn in Montreal felt like an entire city begging for the title to change history.
Do you believe in miracles? Hello,
Those weren't just cool images. They felt like the end of a journey. One prize, one summit, one main character at a time. Now,
wait a minute!
you can turn on a random PLE and see multiple world title matches in one night, and somehow none of them feel like the match. A world heavyweight title defense in the middle of the card, an undisputed match in the main event, maybe a cash-in tease somewhere in between. Technically, it's stacked. Emotionally, it feels crowded. The belts are shinier, the entrances are longer, the production is cleaner than it's ever been. And yet the thing that's supposed to matter more than anything else in this company often feels like just another piece of the show. So what happened? When did World Championships stop feeling like destiny and start feeling like content? Let's break it down. Back when there was only one real mountain to climb, it was simple. In the 80s and early 90s, the WWF Championship was the crown. Hogan, Savage, Warrior, Bret Hart, the entire company revolved around whoever held that one belt. If you were challenging for it, you were in the conversation as one of the absolute best. If you were holding it, you were the company. When Hogan slammed Andre at WrestleMania 3, that wasn't just a cool spot. It was the top star defending the top prize against what felt like an unbeatable final boss. When Bret beat Yokozuna at WrestleMania 10, and babyfaces poured into the ring to celebrate, you knew exactly who the next chapter was built around. Same thing in the Attitude Era. Austin and Rock didn't need 5 different belts to feel important. The WWF Championship was the sun, and everything else orbited around it. Mick Foley's first world title win on Raw didn't need a tagline. The crowd losing its mind told you everything. You didn't need commentary screaming, "World title, history," every 30 seconds.
Heavyweight champion of the world!
The reactions said it for them. Over time, that picture started to split. The first brand split gave us the WWE Championship on one show and the World Heavyweight Championship on the other. At first, it actually worked. Brock as SmackDown's monster, Triple H as Raw's political kingpin. 2 shows, 2 distinct worlds, 2 champions that felt like the faces of their brands. But then came unifications. New belts, old belts disappearing, new belts showing up. The company reshaping what the main title even meant again and again. The Universal Championship arriving in 2016 after the draft because Raw needed a top belt. Then later, the new World Heavyweight Championship being introduced because Roman holding both belts created a problem the weekly shows couldn't work around. Every time there was a structural issue, the solution was more gold. Instead of one mountain, you had a whole range of them. WWE Championship, Universal Championship, World Heavyweight Championship, sometimes existing in the same era. Some felt taller, some felt like a second option, some vanished without the kind of closure fans expect. And once that happened, it got harder and harder for people to look at someone holding a world title and instantly understand what it meant. Is this the guy?
Do we have it? You're kidding me! You're kidding me!
Or just one of a few guys they're calling the guy right now? That confusion is the first crack in why these belts don't hit the way they used to.
Right in his face. Wait a minute. Oh my God!
The second crack is what happens around the titles every single week. In theory, the story of a top championship should be simple. Somebody is chasing, somebody is defending. Every interaction feels like a step towards something you have to see. Now compare that to a lot of modern runs. How many times have we seen a champion get pinned in a random tag match on TV just to build momentum for the challenger? How often do you get a pay-per-view rematch that's basically the same match again, with one extra stipulation slapped on top? You saw it during stretches of Orton and Sheamus in the early 2000s. You saw it with waves of rematches involving Cena and Del Rio. You've seen versions of it with multiple champions across multiple eras.
Here's the three-time women's champion!
Even great wrestlers can't keep something feeling special if the same matchup is being reheated over and over. How special can a world title defense feel when you've already seen a variation of it 3 times on TV? It's not that the wrestlers are uninteresting. Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes, they're not phoning it in. The effort is there. The performances are there. But when big outcomes don't consistently change someone's direction, when a huge loss doesn't really derail a challenger, or a huge win doesn't really elevate them long term, the championship stops feeling like a point of no return. Kofi Kingston is the cleanest example. WrestleMania 35, one of the best feel-good wins of the modern era. Kofi Mania felt like destiny finally catching up, and then later, he loses the WWE Championship to Brock Lesnar in seconds on SmackDown.
Here's the cover! We got a new champion! We have a new champion!
And never returns to that level of singles booking again. That kind of moment quietly teaches fans, don't get too attached. At that point, the belt is technically prestigious, but emotionally less powerful. Then you've got the extremes, reigns that go forever, and reigns that barely get time to breathe. On one side, you have Roman's tribal chief run. At its peak, it was massive. Jey Uso's first challenge, Daniel Bryan's last match, WrestleMania 38 with Brock, Cody at WrestleMania 39. But as the reign stretched on, title defenses became less frequent, and challengers started to blur together. Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, they stepped up, delivered huge matches, and then often got redirected away from the title picture. Eventually, a lot of fans weren't asking, who's going to beat Roman? They were asking, when are they actually going to pull the trigger? On the other side, you've got the hot potato era. Late 2000s into early 2000s, the WWE Championship bounced around a lot. Cena, Orton, Sheamus, and others. And it sometimes created the opposite issue. If the title changes hands too easily, the reign feels less defining. Or look at the Universal Championship's early chaos. Finn Balor wins it at SummerSlam 2016, has to relinquish it the next night due to injury, and the belt takes a while to find stable footing. More recent example, Big E. Incredible cash-in moment on Raw, huge goodwill, and within months, he loses the title in a multi-man match and never gets booked like the top singles guy afterward. Both extremes kill drama in different ways. If nobody can beat the champ, you stop believing in the challenger. If everybody can beat the champ, you stop valuing the reign. The sweet spot. Where a reign feels earned, vulnerable, and meaningful. And when WWE misses it, the belt becomes less of a symbol and more of a tool. There's another shift that quietly changed everything, the move from stories to moments. In the best runs, the title was the payoff to a long arc. Bryan at WrestleMania 30, Punk's 2011 arc leading to Money in the Bank in Chicago, Batista turning on Triple H and winning the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 21. Now think about some of the more recent moment-first decisions. Special attractions getting the loudest spotlight. It's the same vibe you saw when Logan Paul won the United States Championship, and the belt sometimes felt like it was there to validate him, not the other way around. Or when a megastar like The Rock drops into a storyline, then disappears, and the champion is left trying to carry the weight of an angle that wasn't fully about them. It's not that surprises are bad. Tyson with Austin is legendary. The difference is, back then, the celebrity moment was used to amplify the championship. Now, sometimes it feels like the championship is there to amplify the moment. You also can't ignore what Money in the Bank did to the psychology of world titles. When it debuted at WrestleMania 21, it was brilliant. One match, one contract, one threat hanging over every champion. Edge set the tone in 2006 when he speared a bloodied John Cena at New Year's Revolution and stole the WWE title to become the ultimate opportunist. A year later, Rob Van Dam did the opposite. He announced his cash-in and turned it into a full event at One Night Stand. Punk's cash-ins on Edge and later on Jeff Hardy made him feel like a made man. Dolph Ziggler cashing in on Del Rio the night after WrestleMania 29 turned a random Raw into one of the loudest nights of that era. The briefcase was a character, and it made people. Then you started getting the other side. Damian Sandow cashing in and failing against Cena. Baron Corbin trying to cash in and getting rolled up by
Cover by Mahal!
Braun Strowman announcing a cash-in and turning it into a messy non-finish. Austin Theory cashing in for the United States Championship and failing. On the women's side, you had Carmella's controversial first win, and then a trend where a lot of winners cashed in quickly. Alexa Bliss in 2018, Bayley in 2019, Liv Morgan in 2022. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it felt like a shortcut. And over time, the briefcase stopped feeling like a gun pointed at the champion's head and started feeling like a button creative pressed when they wanted chaos. When you combine that with already fragile world titles, you get a weird side effect. Fans stop trusting the payoff. There's also a character problem sitting in the middle of all this. In the best eras, the belt didn't just sit on someone's shoulder, it changed them. When The Rock became champion, he evolved. When Triple H became the center of Raw during the Reign of Terror, the entire presentation shifted around him. When JBL won the WWE title, he transformed into a different kind of monster. Now look at modern examples. Big E wins the WWE Championship, and presentation-wise, not much changes. He's still the same guy, in the same spot, with the same energy around him. WWE never fully framed him as the top single star, the way champions used to be framed. On the other side, Brock Lesnar sometimes felt bigger than the belt. SummerSlam 2014, when he destroyed Cena for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship.
That is the most dominating performance I have ever seen in a championship match.
The title felt massive, but later stretches where he held the Universal Championship and rarely defended it made the belt feel like it was locked away. Sometimes the wrestler feels bigger than the belt. Sometimes the belt feels too big for the wrestler. And way too often, the title win doesn't change the gravity of the character at all. Even the titles themselves don't always have clear identities anymore. There was a time when the big gold belt on SmackDown felt like the workhorse world title. Meanwhile, the WWE Championship often felt like the corporate face of the company prize. Today, people still debate it. Which one is the main belt? Are they equal? Brand specific? Does one matter more? When the show doesn't treat them consistently, fans stop trying to decode it. They just follow the wrestlers they care about and let the belts follow them. That's the opposite of what a top championship is supposed to do. And over all of this, there's the corporate layer. The business is different now. Massive media rights deals, more sponsors, more branding, more pressure to make everything feel like an event. That pressure changes how world titles get used. Here's the thing though. If world titles were truly dead, nobody would be this frustrated. Fans complain because they remember what it feels like when the top prize actually matters. We still see flashes. Kofi finally beating Daniel Bryan, Becky leaving WrestleMania 35 with both belts, Drew McIntyre beating Brock at WrestleMania 36, even if the empty arena changed the vibe. And you feel it when WWE misses those chances. Cody losing at WrestleMania 39 and fans walking away like a defining moment got delayed for reasons outside the story. That feeling is still possible. It hasn't disappeared. So what would it take to fix this? It doesn't require going back to Hulkamania. It doesn't require copying the Attitude Era. It doesn't require pretending fans don't have phones. It starts with giving the top championships a clear purpose again. If there are multiple world-level belts, define them. If the undisputed title is the final boss title, book it that way. Make defenses feel like events. If the World Heavyweight Championship is the workhorse title, prove it with champions defending often and building a body of work. Cut down on rematch spam. Protect big matchups so they actually feel big. Stop giving away the same match on TV 3 times before the pay-per-view. Use swerves as accents, not the entire recipe. Rollins cashing in at WrestleMania 31 felt huge because it was rare and perfectly timed. Ziggler cashing in after WrestleMania 29 felt huge because it landed on top of a story fans were already invested, and most importantly, treat the belt like it changes people. If a mid-carder wins the world title, everything should shift. If a legend wins it one last time, frame it like a final mountain, not like another stat. Fans don't need perfection. They just need to believe WWE cares about the titles at least as much as the audience does. Because when the prize feels sacred, the whole show feels more important. And that's what this really comes down to. If modern world titles feel diluted, is it because the belts changed, or because the philosophy behind them did? To answer that, you have to zoom in on one championship. A title that's been introduced, retired, unified, redesigned, and resurrected more than any other. A belt that used to scream best in the world, and then slowly became a floating prize that meant different things depending on the era. The World Heavyweight Championship, the big gold belt of ruthless aggression, the SmackDown glory years, the days when Edge, Batista, Undertaker, Kurt Angle, and even a young CM Punk used it to define their legacies. The years where it sometimes felt like the second world title, the unification, the disappearance, and now the modern comeback where it's trying to be a top prize again in a world already crowded with them. If you've made it this far, click on the next video. We're breaking down the full history of the World Heavyweight Championship, every reinvention, every peak, every screw-up, and how one title became the perfect explanation for why being world champion doesn't feel as simple as it used to.